Hi Quiltytube, my name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty here on YouTube and Instagram. This is a video about my quilting projects, the ones I currently have on the go. My boatload of haul that I appear to have occurred over the last couple of months, and the usual overambitious plans of what I'm going to achieve in the future. I've been recording floss tubes since January 2020, and I normally include the quilting and any other crafts I fancy having a go at the end of those videos, but those videos are getting very long now. I missed a month in August due to harvest, and so I thought, right, I'll start to split them up. I'll probably have longer periods of time between the quilting videos, sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and then hopefully I'll have achieved more to show you more. Yeah, I think we'll just jump straight in actually. I was going to sort of do 5 points of me and my quilting, but I haven't actually got it organised, so I might do that another time. So the first project I'm working on is the Catherine Kerr Etoile Rouge quilt. Now this is a block of the week. You sign up, it started in January of this, well I think it runs yearly, but it started in January of this year, and it's 49 blocks. And when I signed up for it, I thought, woohoo, I can do that as a Christmas quilt. And I didn't really think it through and realised that actually it wasn't going to be done by this Christmas. It would be next Christmas by the time this was finished. So once that clicked in, I sort of bit off the wagon with it. I'm not very good at doing something every week. So what I tend to do is leave it, cut everything, have a mass cutting out session and get sort of 3 or 4 weeks stacked up, and then have another mass quilting session. I went back to one of my first quilty groups this year since March 2020, so it was good fun to see everybody again, and I took this quilt with me to get a few of the blocks made up and put together. So this is what I have so far. I can't remember which end is the first block and which end is the last block. So I've got 1 full row completed out of 7. Not that I'm behind, but there we go. And as I said, I try to do this as a sort of Christmassy theme. So we've got the reds, the greens, the golds, but it's not too Christmassy that I can't have it out at other times of the year. So that was the 1 row put together. I then have this block I've put together. I'm a better is finished than perfect quilter, so there might be a few mistakes. If there are, hey ho, quilt over the top of it. That's what I always do. And here we go, this is my little organisation system. So I have a plate here with some of the blocks I had started to put together. The date or the row telling me what column and what row this is. So I need to put that one together. And here's some of the ones, these essentially are some of the ones that I would have done earlier. I better not show you that actually somewhere. So I just cut them all out, stick them on the plates, layer the plates up, and get round to the quilting them when I'm quilting them. I am enjoying it. Yeah, it's just a case of I sort of do it rather than a block a week, I just do a block every couple of months. It won't be done this year, but there we go. So that's the first quilt that I'm working on. My second quilt that I'm working on is a quilt by Jen Kingwell, and it's called Dear Jen. I bought this book a good few months ago now. I thought, oh, I love that, that's absolutely great. And it wasn't until I sort of really opened up and read it. It's all hand-pieced, which, I'm quite happy to hand-piece things. I don't have an issue with it. So it's going to be a long-term project. It's going to take me quite a while. Here is, that's the inside. So those are all the blocks on the inside there. And then in the book, you obviously get the templates for each block that you need to cut out, and then how to put them together. And so I started with block 1, as you would. And the way this is made up is these are 3 individual blocks put together, or 3 sub blocks put together, which give you the one big rectangular block. So the first one of these took me a long time, long time to do. And for some reason I struggled with these centre bits. Every time I kept on putting the corner pieces on the wrong on the wrong side, threw me every time. But they're all 3 put together. And then I thought I'd go on to block 2, which I assumed would be this one, but it isn't. Block 2 is all the way down here somewhere, and it was another quite fiddly, complicated, you know, lots of little pieces. And I just wanted something that I could do and get done, so I felt I was making progress. So I actually went on to block 18, it's called. So that's the first one. So these are all, I've made the templates, cut it out, and pieced it together. And these are all from scraps. Well, some of it's from scraps, but I have also been buying fat quarters as I've gone around, just sort of fat quarters, grouping them together, and I'll throw them all in. The way this quilt works is, it's probably easiest to see it from the inside here, is you have a dark background with lighter colours, and then the next block is a lighter background with darker colours on it. And I am sticking to that theme, obviously. I'm going to stick to that theme. And as you'll note in here, block 1, she's used all the same colours throughout 3 blocks. So I've done that. And in this block 2, the backgrounds are all different, and the centres, or the brighter colour, the darker colours, are all different as well. So I've done that. I obviously haven't done the colours that she has done, because, you know, I haven't got them for a start, and that would be a bit too much. But I am going along themes of, if they're all in the same fabric, I'll do it on the same fabric, and if they're not, then I won't. But I'm really, really enjoying that, but it is going to take quite a long time. And there is a plique in that. I think you can hand piece you could machine piece quite a few of the blocks, but I actually like having a hand project on the go. So that was that. My third project, I've actually got 3/4 finished. I'm waiting to buy a board fabric for it. Now this is I went to a shop, I did a sort of quilty road trip with a friend of mine a few months ago. And we went to a shop and I bought some fat quarters that had been bundled together, just offcuts of various fabric that they're sort of paired up and quartered together. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a really, really simple half square triangle quilt and just make it a bit scrappy, mix them up. And I think the last time I showed this on one of my floss tubes, I was standing up holding up going, now one of these is not like the others, where I've basically put it the wrong way around, because I've gone for, again, I've mixed it with the darks and the lights. And in one of them, I think either they're facing the wrong way or I've got my darks and lights. And I sort of went, oh, one of these is not like the other. And then as I stood up and showed her, oh, 2 of these is not like the others. But there we go. It makes it homemade, is what I say. As I said, finished is better than perfect. I'm quite happy to take things apart a couple of times to try and get it better. But this was, you know, it's in the middle of the quilt and I'm not taking it all apart. So I'll try and show this a little bit. So as you can see, it's all just really simple half square triangles, lots of repeats fabrics, mished and mashed up. This is quite big. This is king size, I think I've got it to. And as I said, I just want to add a border on it so that when the other half rolls over in the night and steals half my covers, there's still something left for me. It's funny, when you show it in a picture, if you sort of, you know, you look at it, oh, it's okay, it's fine. And then I put it on the bed just for sizing and to take a photo for Instagram to show that it was finished. And it looks absolutely fantastic. I really, really love it. It's much better in situ than it is in photo. But this was just really, really simple. Cut them all out, sew them all together. Job's a good one. As I said, I'm waiting on a border. And then that will be done. My 4th whip that I'm working on at the moment is the final whip as well that I'm working on. And I haven't got as much progress made on this one as I have the others. No real reason why. I enjoy it when I do it, it's just when I get round to it. And it is Dancing Chickens and Flying Pigs from Hatched and Patched, who is a designer based in Australia. And so these are all individual blocks and they just have a lot of applique and sort of embroidery, as in just writing really more than anything. There's no fancy stitches, it's just all sort of backstitched writing and then applique on it. But again, it's just something a bit different to have a bit of fun doing, really. So I started with the first block, which is Flying Pigs and Other Things. And so far, I have got this far. So I did all the embroidery first. Yeah, I've done all the embroidery first, and I've put my 2 piggy wiggies in. And then I've basically, I tend to do things in batches, so my next thing will be I will cut out all of those shapes and get them onto the heat and bond, and then the next time I come back to it, I'll stick it all on the block, and then, well, I might stick bits of it on. I do tend to find that once I put a plique on, I like to then sew around the edges of it at that point, because otherwise you go back to it a couple of weeks later and bits are starting to peel off. Anyway, so that's what I've got done so far. The wool I bought from So Hot here in the UK. I have shown it before. I haven't got it with me, I'm afraid. You can get little sort of 5, almost like swatches of this wool, and it's absolutely fantastic value. Lots of different colours and lots of different sort of designs or tones, right? So you buy pinks, you get 5 different pinks with either different patterns or different tones in them. So that was a really good way of doing it, I thought. Anyway, so that is that. So those are my 4 current projects. As I said, there is a lot of haul. I seem to go through fits and spurts. The first thing I'm going to show you actually, again, is from So Hot. It is a fat quarter bundle. It doesn't look as pretty as when I got it, because I did have to open it and have a good look at it, I'm afraid. And then I made an attempt at tying it back up again. And yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to work in a quilt shop. It's obviously not my forte. But at the beginning of August, here in England, we have the Festival of Quilts held at the NEC in Birmingham. I don't think I'll ever be able to get there, just because it's that time of the year. And quite a lot, I think, of shops this year were still a bit cagey, possibly, about going. And So Hot, I mean, they didn't actually specify that they were cagey about going due to COVID, but they said that they were not going, but they were going to run a virtual stall on Facebook throughout that weekend and have offers and deals. And so I just signed up to be notified for that. And the only one I actually managed to catch happened to have this Tula Pink Curiouser and Curiouser. Now, I am not normally a Tula Pink person. You know, I mean, I love her fabrics, I love her quilts. It's not something that I would normally be drawn to use myself. I'm much more muted tones, darker tones, just calmer tones, I suppose. But it was fantastic the way that So Hot did it. So they showed you the fat quarter bundles, but then they did actually open them out. So if I saw this, obviously neatly, slightly more neatly arranged, if I saw this in a shop on the, you know, online, and they said, oh, this is Tula Pink's Curiouser and Curiouser, I go, okay, whatever. But they took the time to open out the fabrics and show you all the individual fabrics. And at that point, I was sold. Now, I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan, but I am sure, a bit like everyone else, either the book that you read as you were growing up, or the film that you watched as you were growing up, or the cartoon that you watched, sort of determines what your idea of Alice is. And I have a very strict idea of what I think Alice looks like. And very rarely do you find that, even though I think it's the traditional blue dress, blonde hair, very rarely do you find that either in quilting fabrics or even cross-stitch patterns and things. But this one, I thought, really, if I can find her. Oh, here's she gone. Yeah, no, she hasn't actually got blonde hair in this. But I did like it. I liked it, so I bought it. So that's obviously Alice. We have the roses. I have the Queen. We have Alice falling down the rabbit hole. The teacups, I love these teacups. And and some flowers. I might open all of these out, sorry. Flowers, Cheshire Cat, card motifs. So, yeah, it looks nothing like the Alice that I thought, but for some reason I was drawn to it, so I got it. Basically, you get various, so you've got them in the dark purples, you've got them in the lighters, you've got them in this bright pinks. I haven't actually got a pattern that I'm going to use for that. I'm going to make one up as I go along. So I think I'm going to do a real sort of patchwork. And the biggest motif is probably the Queen, followed swiftly by Alice. And so I'm going to do, I think, divide the colours up into 4, corner of each quilt, and then make up that corner, work it out, make up the corner with the bigger motifs and then the smaller motifs, and I'm going to do 4 patches if I need to make up the difference. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do a sort of cross as sashing to divide the colours up or not. I might have to just get some plainer background fabrics to fill in spaces if need be, but that's something I've got to sit down and draw out. Maths is not my forte, so I will draw it out, leave it, go back to it a week or so later, by which point I will have had that light bulb moment of 2 + 2 does not make 5, and I'll redo it all again. But yeah, so that was the first thing, one of the first things I bought. Tulip Pink, Curacao and Curacao, Alice in Wonderland. The actual Alice doesn't look anything like the Alice I grew up with, but these sort of images do. And I really love it, and it's going to be bright and in your face, and it's not like any other quilt that I normally make. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that one at some point. The crafter's mantra, at some point. So that was my first haul. The second thing I think I bought was, again, I was looking at So Hot, and they had sale section. They just sent me an email with what's in our sale today, and I thought, well, I'll have a look as I'm sitting here waiting for something. And my son, I always say to my son, would you like me to make you a quilt? He says, no, I don't like quilts. He likes fleecy blankets, and he has a lot of those. I don't like quilts. Well, that's just like a red flag to a quilter, isn't it? I'm going to make you one anyway, and you will be grateful for it. And I saw this actually in the sale, and this is Japanese sort of cartoon fabric. So you've got this where it's based on the blue, and this where it's based on the white. And I thought I'm just going to go for a really simple, cut it out into squares, get some red and some blue and probably some yellow to throw in there to mix it all up, and make him a quilt, give it to him, and he will be grateful for what he has received. And then the last thing I think I bought from So Hot was this panel, and I bought it just because I've got to have it, and it's like channeling my inner Priscilla and Chelsea moment. I've no idea what I'm going to do. But they had this panel in their sales. And then, oh, can you see? I can't see what you can see. Sorry. Pigs, barn, animal stack, and another barn. And I think it's repeated. I've got sort of one repeat of everything. I think I've offered to make a friend a table runner for a birthday, which I need to regret a bit now, because it's, you make things for yourself that you like because you like them, but it's really difficult when you're making it for somebody else. And she has got very good taste, far better taste than I've got, and very specific taste. And I'm struggling now to find things that she likes, that she wants in a table runner. But she did seem to like this. So whether I just cut some of these up and add in some reds or some greens or something, either sashing or I don't know. But that could be used for that. And I might use the other repeat of it. I have a monk's bench in the kitchen that I keep all my recipe books in. And I just might make, and my kitchen's black, white and red essentially. So I might do this for myself into a quilt for the monk's bench and just put some red in there. And the next thing I bought is actually, is it Socks for You? I think it was Socks for You. I was watching her, so this is her fault. And she showed this book, Autumn Bounty, by Renee Nanneman of Needle Love. I got this off Amazon. And it's absolutely stunning. You can see the quilts in it. I will probably bring this out for another crafty video because there's lots of wool applique work in it. But it's got some lovely quilts in it, some lovely wool applique work, table runners, table mats, sorry. That quilt. If that isn't autumn, I don't know what is. And oh look, cool. Sunflower. Stars. Again, I don't know what it is about autumn. It's just the colour schemes, just so fantastic. I love them. And oh, here we go. That one looks like a good one. Yeah. So obviously there's lots of quilts in there. I'm going to make when I get around to it. It's a great book. Really, really pretty book. Lovely book. Then I think a couple of weeks ago now, we had our first quilt show back here in England. There's a company in our area that runs quilt shows sort of fairly well down the middle strip of England, really, just to the east and down the middle, or yeah. And obviously they've all been put on hold for the last 18 months. But the first one opened back up again in actually a town just down the road from us, not very far at all. Now it was a lot smaller. There were a lot less stands. I think they'd done that specifically. They were only on the outskirts of the big hall that the stands were, and then in the middle there was an awful lot of quilts on display from various quilting groups and things, which is always good to see. It was so exciting. My friend and I just walked in and went, I just want everything I can see I want to buy it. Oh my god, because it's so much better when you can see fabric in person. Anyway, I did restrain myself a little bit, excuse me, and the first thing we both saw, both wanted, was this fantastic, side again, panel. So it's autumn squirrel. So that's just one big panel. I'm sorry, I can't get any further back. But it's really, really fab. And the way they had it at the show, actually the stall at the show, the way they had it, they'd just done it, left it as the panel and quilted it, mounted it and quilted it and hung it up. And I think that is what I'm going to do with this. My friend also bought this, and she also bought some extra fabric, as have I, and I think she's going to make a quilt out of hers. But alongside it, you could also buy some, all fingers and thumbs. I'm not very good at showing fabrics. It's not as easy as just holding up a piece of cross stitch. So you also have that one, which is the repeat of the patterns that are in the panel. They're very pretty. And then you have these lovely, lovely fabrics. So it's probably easiest to sort of do there. It's a fantastic fabric bundle that, you know, goes with it very well. And I think, as I said, I think I'm just going to leave the panel as a panel, quilt it, have it on the wall, and then I think I'm probably going to make a table runner, or a couple of table runners possibly, or, you know, table toppers out of this material for that autumn vibe. But yeah, so that was actually my only purchase from the show. I mean, oh no, it wasn't. I did buy a few bits, things like wadding and plastic template. Well, plastic, I suppose. Well, not plastic template paper, plastic template, plastic. And some needles and things. So yeah, so that was one thing out of that was from the quilt show. And then the other very exciting thing at the quilt show was I found a new stall, and it's bigger stitches, but bigger AR at the end of it. and she specialises in Civil War reproduction fabric. And I absolutely love that stuff. And you can't, it's really difficult to find over here in England. And I always get very jealous. I watch, you know, Olivia of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, and she always has these stunning quilts behind her. And yeah, I just absolutely love the fabric. And I've got a couple of Kim Deal books and Jo Morton books, and just love this, love the colours, love the schemes, love the patterns. So I did say to her that, because she doesn't, they don't do fat quarter bundles, they do long quarters. Is that what you call them? I can't remember now. Because we were like, oh yeah, then my friend and I sat in the car, we ended up having to Google how big. So I said, how big is a long quarter in relation to a fat quarter? And yeah, it's, or, you know, not how big is it, but, you know, what is the measurement of it? And it took us quite a while, but we worked it out. So it's a long quarter that she does hers in, which is absolutely fine. And I think she'll be at Malvern at the end of October. So I have warned her to get quite a few bundles cut out, because I really can't wait to get some of those fabrics. They were lovely. She had a really big range. But anyway, the same day that we went to the show, my friend couldn't find something specific that she was looking for. And so we ended up going to another town nearby and went into a quilt shop there. And obviously I didn't need anything, but I saw this fabric. Now this, hang on, let me hold it. This is just gorgeous, love it. And I think this is part of a new Beatrix Potter collection, or Peter Rabbit collection that has come out. And it's the Craft Cotton Company is the name on Salvage. But I didn't get those. I thought, table runners. I'm into my table runners at the moment because I've got so many bigger projects that are going to take me a long time. I feel the need for table runners to get some quicker projects done and dusted to feel a bit productive. And so I didn't get all of the Peter Rabbit fabrics, but I got this one. And then I got a plain red. And a plain green. All go together. Excuse the sniffing. All goes together like that. So again, a future table topper. I haven't actually got that many tables. Now, a lot of table toppers, not many tables. I'll have to buy some more tables at this rate. And then my last piece of haul is just, because I'm a complete sheep, quite happy to admit it, I'm a complete sheep. So when I started watching Quiltytube, and obviously you have people that combine, you know, cross stitching and Quiltytube together, and I started seeing people with this quilt. I was like, oh, that's lovely, I love it, it's great. And of course it was out of print. And the fact that it was out of print made it even more desirable. And then I received an email, I'm on Kitten Stitch's mailing list, and I received an email and she was saying, oh, you know, I have this back in stock. And I thought, well, I'll check to see if any of the English online shops have it. And I ended up getting this one from Peakside Needleworks, because just as I was looking for it, Coco Cross Stitcher on Instagram posted that she'd started putting her plique pieces on to sort of, you know, space them out and whatnot. And I was like, where did you get your pattern from? And she said, oh, I got mine from Peakside Needleworks. So I went to Peakside Needleworks and I ordered it straight away. And actually I am really pleased that I have. And there is a fabric line that I saw on 2 or 3 shops at this quilt show, which is absolutely stunning, real autumnal, just absolutely stunning. And I held off from buying it because I thought, what are you going to do with it? And actually what I'm going to do when I either go to Malvern or Duxford is buy fat quarters and a bit extra, because I might want to make something else with it, buy some fat quarters and use it to make this. Yeah, I'd really like this. And most of my quilts, or all of my quilts, are made to be used. They're not perfect. I have no issue with that. They're chucked on the beds, they're chucked on the sofas, they're made to be used. But I mean, things like the hand-pieced one I'm doing, we'll see how good it turns out. I might use it as a wall hanging. I think I'll probably definitely use this one as a wall hanging rather than as a quilt on a sofa, just because I think it's just such a cool design. I've got the Jane Austen quilt that I want to make at some point. Again, that'll probably be a wall hanging, because I am hand piecing that one. So again, that will take a long time. But yeah, so meh, I'm a sheep. I bought it. And I'm quite happy that I bought it, and I know what fabric I'm going to use to make it. So that is the end. I'm really pleased. We're at 30 minutes, which is far better than my usual longer waffly ones. As I said, I'm not going to show you any previous makes because I've shown quite a lot of those in my floss tubes, and I should imagine most of the people watching this will be the ones that normally watch my floss tubes, so thank you very much if you are watching. And I don't want to bore them again with quilts that they've already seen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've enabled you either to buy some fabric or possibly buy a book or buy a pattern. And I hope to be back in sort of, 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll just be back when I've got enough progress that it's worthwhile showing you. I have lots of plans that, I haven't shown you in here because we all have lots of plans. So whether any of those come to fruition, I might be able to show you those. But other than that, I hope you've liked this video. I hope you subscribe. Please leave a comment, ask any questions. And other than that, thank you for watching my first Quiltytube, and I hope to see you in a couple of months' time. Bye.